Evening sunshine. Oh wait, there's no light left, is there? Because they turned it off. They thought it would break you. They thought if they pulled the plug, if they dragged you into that basement of silence, you'd collapse. Fold cry out for help like a good little pawn. They didn't know that you were sculpted in the dark, sharpened in it, raised by it, while they were bathing in comfort and calling it confidence. You were negotiating with your own demons, staring straight into the black void and daring it to blink first. You didn't stumble into the shadows. You came from there. You weren't lost. You were home. You see, when they dragged you into the darkness thinking it would devour you, what they didn't realize is that you don't get devoured in your own territory. You transform there. You hunt there. They wanted you disoriented. What they got was a monster perfectly adapted to blindness. They thought the dark would turn you into prey. Instead, it erased your limits. They don't understand it yet. They think darkness means confusion, but for you, darkness was clarity. It stripped away the applause. It tore off the masks. It shattered every fake connection until all that remained was you. Raw, unfiltered, real. And that terrified them because they realized they don't even know who you are anymore, but you do, finally. You're not light-hearted. You're light immune. You don't chase the spotlight. You burn from within, and now they're squinting into the abyss trying to find you. But you see them perfectly. Because here's the joke they never got. The shadows never hid you. They revealed you. They took off your leash. They stripped away the crowd's distractions. And what crawled out of that crucible wasn't a victim. It was a variable. They tried to diagnose you, but your pathology rewrote itself. They tried to isolate you, but you evolved in silence. They tried to end you. But endings mean nothing to something born in the blank spaces. You weren't broken, you were reforged, not in applause, but in absence, not in praise, but in pain. And now, you walk differently, not like someone looking for light, but like someone who became the thing others light torches to run from. You're no longer here to be understood. You're here to be felt, to be studied, like a glitch in the code they wrote to control people like you. Because when the dark tried to crush you, it activated a part of you that never needed saving. It wasn't a rescue arc. It was a resurrection, and now you move without needing approval. You exist without explanation. You dominate without sound. Because when you're born in the dark, you stop fearing ghosts. You become one, untrackable, uncatchable, unkillable. And that's what's got them whispering now. Not what you said, not what you wear, not even what you're doing, but what you survived silently. The moments that would have destroyed anyone else, but made you inevitable. They thought they were erasing you, but what they really did was develop the photo. And now that the image is sharp, they can't unsee it. You're not just alive, you're a walking glitch in their timeline. An error they can't patch, a presence they can't process, a masterpiece they didn't mean to create. So let them panic. Let them scramble for candles in a storm you've already mastered, because they thought the dark would break you. But it was just a homecoming, and now they pray for daylight, because you're what the darkness sends when it wants revenge. You see, the greatest mistake they made was confusing your silence with surrender, confusing your isolation with irrelevance. They didn't realize the dark doesn't kill you. It teaches you how to kill illusions. You stopped begging for visibility. You stopped auditioning for their rooms. You let them forget you. And while they slept, you engineered a new law of gravity, one where their rules, their ranks, their roles no longer applied to a thing like you. You were not waiting to be chosen. You were building the throne they swore didn't exist. You let them think they erased you. Good. You needed them distracted, because while they were out there trying to belong, you were in here becoming. You cracked the mirror, not to break the reflection, but to cut your own damn leash. The funny thing is, now that you're back in their line of sight, they can't make sense of you. Because you don't match your past version. Your voice sounds the same, but your frequency, it's lethal now. They hear your footsteps, but the pattern's all wrong. You don't chase, you don't bark, you don't announce, you just appear. And whatever they were hiding behind, it burns. Because you're not moving with emotion anymore. You're moving with precision. They can't bait you. They can't shake you. They can't read you. Why? Because when you're born in the dark, you learn to speak in frequencies they can't hear. And now they think you're quiet. But you're not quiet. You're calibrated. They thought the pain would mute you. What it did was fine-tune your rage into resolution. Now every room you walk into feels like a test they forgot to study for. Every glance they send you is laced with curiosity and fear. Every whisper, not gossip, intel. Trying to figure out where they messed up. Trying to remember where they lost you. Trying to understand how you turned exile into evolution. Because let's be honest, they didn't just want you gone. They wanted you small, manageable, predictable, silent. And instead, they're now staring at a fully weaponized anomaly, one they can't outrun, outtalk, or outsmart. Because here's what you never needed: validation, recognition, permission, all of that. It was the old version of you, the one they thought they could handle. But this is the version that remembers everything. Every door slammed, every doubt whispered, every time they laughed behind your back. You're the aftershock, the living proof that their map was incomplete, because it didn't include your route through hell. And now, they're realizing they never knew who you were, because they only saw you in their light. They never saw you in your element, where silence becomes your siren, where shadows are your sanctuary, where every heartbeat is a countdown to something they can't stop. So here's your coronation. No confetti, no cheers, just a citywide silence. Because they know they misjudged the storm. They thought the dark would bury you. But all it did was give you depth. And now, you walk among them like a quiet apocalypse. A storm disguised as a survivor. A legend dressed in restraint. And every time they look at you, they remember. Not what they did, but what they didn't do. They didn't kill you. They didn't contain you. They didn't understand you. And now it's too late. Because you were born in the dark, and they just cut the lights again. Game on. Let's turn the volume all the way up. Because now, it's not about survival. It's about dominance. You want to know what really haunts them? Not the way you disappeared, not even how you came back, but the fact that nothing looks familiar anymore, not even you. Because something shifted. Your energy isn't human now. It's strategic. You don't react. You redirect. You don't compete. You control the tempo. And that scares them more than anything. They were prepared for the old war, the obvious kind. Drama, gossip, ego clashes. They thought you'd fire back. But no. You're not operating in that dimension anymore. You've become surgical, calculated, composed, cruel, in the most elegant way. You're the kind of nightmare that doesn't scream. You just rearrange reality. One look, one move, and the whole room recalibrates. Because when you walk in now, it's not noise that follows, it's implications. And they feel it, in their gut. in their chest, in the way they pause before saying your name. Because every time they mention you now, there's a tremor in their voice. You were supposed to be the one that broke, the one who never recovered, the one who slipped into silence and stayed there. But you turned the silence into a sanctuary. You made peace with your monsters, and then you weaponized them. They gave you the dark thinking it would dilute your power, not realizing it would purify it. Now you walk different, talk different, think like a glitch, act like a prophecy. You stopped being relatable. And that's the problem, isn't it? They can't define you anymore. And the human mind? It panics when it can't label something. You've become unclassifiable, not a rebel, not a villain, not a saint, not a ghost, a force. One forged in the exact conditions they prayed would ruin you. And now they're realizing all that pain, it was your ritual, all that silence, your training montage, all that isolation, your metamorphosis. You didn't get weaker in the dark. You got wiser. You learned what echoes, what breaks, what bends, and what never needs to explain itself again. And now, you're operating at a frequency where noise dies and only truth survives. And here's the truth. You're not coming for revenge. You're coming for order, not the order they built, but the one they fear because it doesn't include them. You're not here to fight. You're here to replace. You're not angry. You're awakened. You're not proving them wrong. You're making them irrelevant. That's why they're trembling. That's why they whisper your name like it summons something. Because it does. Not a person, not a version, but a reminder that somewhere out there, someone survived the fire and came back as the match. So let them keep hoping you fade. Let them hold on to the light like it's a shield. Because the next time the power goes out, it won't be an accident. It'll be your arrival. And they'll know. They'll feel it in their bones. This ain't fear of the dark anymore. This is fear of what lives inside it. And now, you're walking straight into their world, with your scars polished, with your silence sharpened, with your shadows trained like wolves. And the only question left is, how long can they keep pretending they're not afraid of you? You want to know why they're unraveling? Because you didn't just survive. You flipped the ecosystem. You were never meant to climb the ranks. You were born to burn the entire hierarchy to ash and rewrite the laws in your mother tongue. Pain. That's the dialect they never studied, the frequency they never trained for. And now you speak it fluently, while they stutter in fear trying to understand the new world order you became. You didn't go viral. You went vengeful. You didn't trend. You transformed. And every room that once dismissed you is now humming with the tension of your re-entry. They don't know if they should clap, cry, confess, or run, because you don't show up to impress. You show up to end bloodlines of complacency. You don't smile for photos. You trigger flashbacks. You don't talk to be liked. You speak in coded detonations. And now their systems, their sacred blueprints, the social rituals they trusted to keep you under, all corrupted. Because you were never an outlier, you were the origin, the raw algorithm, the hidden variable. They branded you the mistake, but you turned error into empire. And here's what kills them. Your glow didn't come from light. It came from fire, self-lit, self-fueled, self-replicating. No cosign, no blueprint, no permission. And now you're walking the halls like a prophecy they tried to suppress. And every time you breathe, the walls whisper, "We tried to stop this." But you were inevitable. A ghost their ancestors cursed in ancient languages. A force they tried to bury in shame. A presence too loud for the silence they built. You're not a phase, you're payback. The karmic invoice, the forgotten name etched in their bloodline's denial, the face in the family mirror that never fit in. Until now, when it owns the frame. You came through the gates they guarded for centuries, not knocking, exploding. You didn't evolve to fit in. You evolved to make everything else obsolete. And now, every spotlight that hits you isn't praise, it's confession. They're not clapping because they like you. They're clapping because they're scared not to. They're not watching because they support you. They're watching because they don't know where the next aftershock is coming from. You move like smoke. You think like prophecy. You look like payback in designer form. And that's why the same ones who called you crazy now call you genius under their breath. The same ones who laughed at your silence now can't even speak when you enter the room. The same ones who swore you wouldn't survive now study your every move like it's an ancient spell book. Because you weren't meant to make sense. You were meant to make impact. Not be digestible, be unskippable, not fit in, shatter the whole mold, not be understood, be unforgettable. And now the whispers are turning into warnings. Now the watchers are filing reports with trembling hands. Now the game they built around how to control you has glitched beyond repair. You became the reason the rules no longer work. You didn't just break the system. You made it question its own existence. They thought the dark would break you, but instead, it introduced you to who you really are. And now, you're that introduction for everyone else. The walking consequence, the poetic paradox, the saint with a shiv behind the smile, the demon who prays, the angel who sins with strategy, the ghost that never needed resurrection. Because you never actually died, you were just watching, and now it's your turn to speak. Oh, you want more? Good. Because they're still watching, still hoping this isn't real, still praying this is a phase, still clinging to the last glitch in their matrix. The lie that you were never built for this. Let's rip that lie out by the root, shall we? Because they forgot something critical. You didn't just endure the darkness. You read its manual. You memorized the chapters they skipped. You forged your fingers into lockpicks, your ribs into armor, and your trauma into trajectory. See, people like them, they go through hell and beg for the exit. You went through hell and drew a thing map. Now others are following it, and that's what's making them spiral. Because the moment you stood up with rage in your eyes and blueprints in your hands, you stopped being just a survivor and became a system disruptor. You became a blueprint for the broken. Proof that pain can be a prototype. Now every outcast, every exile, every underestimated soul, they don't just watch you, they study you. You became a master class in weaponizing rejection, in extracting fuel from betrayal, in sharpening your silence into something surgical. And you didn't just rise. You recoded reality. You stopped seeking seats at tables. You started building temples from the wreckage. And those who doubted you, those who scoffed, they thought their power was permanent. But now they're realizing you were the expiration date. Every snub, every backhanded compliment, every whisper behind your back, that wasn't a wound, it was a warning. And now, they're counting seconds, checking shadows, reviewing receipts, because what used to be just you has become an atmosphere. You don't walk into rooms anymore. You shift them. You don't enter conversations. You rewrote their meaning. And when your name comes up now, people don't laugh. They lower their voices. They check their tone. They look around first. Because the dark doesn't just belong to you. You became its ambassador. You became the reminder that some of us don't need spotlights, because we burn on contact. They thought the dark would shrink you, but it amplified you. They thought it would humiliate you, but it gave you clarity. They thought it would erase you, but instead, it revealed your final form. You're not just what survived, you're what evolved. The saint who speaks in scars, the scholar of pain, the villain in their story, only because you stopped auditioning for their approval. And now, you are the story, and they're just a footnote in the chapter called How Legends Are Made. They thought your glow was rebellion, but no, it was restoration. It was the universe correcting the glitch that said you weren't enough. You're not a product of luck. You're the result of what happens when divine timing partners with unrelenting rage. You're not here because the odds favored you. You're here because you became the odds. You outlived their projections, outmaneuvered their traps. And now, you move like the unanswered question in every room. They don't know whether to fear you, follow you, or pray they don't get in your way. Because here's what no one wants to admit. You became the prophecy they laughed at, until it started speaking fluently in your victories. You were the warning label they peeled off too soon. The red flag they called delusion, the storm they thought was just weather, until it leveled their entire playbook. Now they whisper your name not as gossip, but as a cautionary tale. Don't underestimate him. Don't try what we tried. Don't poke the thing that made it out of that, because they saw the darkness as a curse. But you saw it as a craft. You stayed quiet, not because you were weak, but because you were studying, observing, reverse engineering every deception ever told to you. And then, you built yourself in secret, until silence became your scream. Now your walk says, checkmate. Your aura, a threat assessment. Your laugh, untranslated power. They don't know what version of you they'll get. And that's psychological warfare, because you're not chaotic, you're calculated insanity. You're what happens when someone turns pain into data and trauma into architecture. You don't wear your scars for sympathy. You wear them like credentials, like access codes, like keys to vaults they'll never unlock. Because every flaw they mocked was just a feature they hadn't learned how to process. Every quirk, a defense system. Every silence, a detonation countdown. They tried to fix you, tried to humble you, tried to bring you back down to earth. But you were never meant to walk the earth. You were meant to break its rules. And now you don't just scare them. You remind them that power can come dressed in anything, even in someone they once dismissed, even in a body that once begged for belonging, even in eyes that used to hold back tears, but now hold intel. Because let's be real, you didn't evolve to make peace. You evolved to make history. And the ones who threw dirt on your name didn't realize they were fertilizing a goddamn jungle. Now you walk past them and the oxygen changes. The light bends a little different. The tension? Delicious. Because they know. They know they wrote you off. They laughed. They bet against you. And now, you're the ghost in their throat every time they try to celebrate someone else. You're the glitch in their system, the what-if that keeps them awake. The unarchived trauma they can't delete, because it showed up wearing your face. You weren't just born in the dark. You're what the dark sends when it needs something remembered. And now the world doesn't just see you. It recalculates itself around you. Because you didn't just change the game, you became the reason it has a plot twist, and they'll never be ready for what comes next. But you will. because you are what happens when the storm doesn't pass. It evolves and walks out of the ashes, wearing your smile.